Welcome back to Coffee with Scott. I'm Jeff Brodus, joined by Scott Hayes, our president and CEO here at ISC Group, for our special Christmas edition of Coffee with Scott. Today we're here to talk about AI. Bubble, reality, building block, who knows? Hopefully we can learn more in the next few minutes.
Both maybe?
Both maybe? All of it? All the above? Is there a...
This hat is AI generated, by the way.
Well, diving right in, AI seems to be everywhere right now. So I guess the most logical place to start would be, why is it gaining so much attention?
Well, it's super exciting, obviously, for a number of reasons. I think the long-term impacts on healthcare, robotics, everything we do that's easily routine type work is going to be able to be done by AI in the near future if it can't be already. Obviously, companies have made a huge investment in this. AI firms have spent something like $320 billion in 2025 just building out the AI infrastructure to support all of this. So it's really unique and exciting time in our history, unlike probably any time before in the history of man. Honestly, I mean, it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that. I know that ISC Group in particular, we're looking at a variety of ways that we can integrate it. And there are elements that we're kind of all using on a daily basis to augment our activities. So I think it would stand to reason to say that a lot of those pieces are maybe what's driving kind of the AI boom, so to speak, in the markets, right? But I guess tell us a little bit more about kind of your perception on and the relation of kind of that day-to-day aspect and why there's kind of this boom in the marketplace with AI attached to it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hype right now, right? And potentially even overhype about what it's going to do in the short run. But we've already seen it firsthand in terms of, you can feed in a legal contract and have it give you advice on things to look for from a certain person or position's perspective. They're highly trainable in terms of, pretend that you're, chief attorney for blah, 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 and give me your results based upon that. And the interesting thing about it is it just goes out, it looks at all the different places on the World Wide Web and synthesizes it into an answer that you can customize, whether it's, short and concise, detailed. It's just really transformative what it's already doing. And again, it's just in the early stages today.
Well, and so that's the early stages of things. But as we think about kind of the longer term impact of AI, what do you think that looks like? And again, maybe drawing that back into kind of that shorter term market performance that we're seeing right now.
Well, the short term market performance is anticipating this long term impacts of AI, right? Mm. What it means in the long term, nobody knows for sure, of course, but there's thoughts that AI, once it achieves AGI or artificial general intelligence, which is likely to happen in maybe the 2030s, 2040s, I mean, it's still some time out, but it's akin to superintelligence. And basically, AI has the potential to replace almost everything that we do today in terms of thought, like process and routine type work. Accounting type functions and things that can be replicated, their routine can certainly in the intermediate term be replaced potentially by AI agents.
Well, when we think about the kind of that replacement of work, what are we seeing right now in terms of the companies in the investable universe and kind of their focus? Is it centered around more of the general AI capabilities, or are we seeing companies that are potentially, bringing this into their kind of daily activities also kind of start to take off?
Yeah, I think any public company that puts the word AI into their management meetings has been getting the boost, from that. Bump. And everybody's an AI company now.
Yeah.
And again, I think a lot of it hasn't really translated into increased productivity yet per se. I was reading something about a company that bought like 4,000 Copilot licenses and 30 of them are actually being used or something like that. But they're able to print that they're AI forward, and therefore they're getting that boost, which is also one of the risks about this, is just the overhype on it all.
Well, talk a little bit more about the risks.
Yeah, so there's a whole lot of infrastructure spending right now. Again, I think it's like $320 billion just in 2025 in building out data centers in particular. One of the risks being that you don't need all of that data. It was Elon Musk came out recently and said, well, the human brain is the most powerful computer out there right now, right? And it consumes something like 20 watts of energy. So the fact that we're spending all this electricity, the grids can't even support all this if we really did truly build it out like that. But there's probably a more efficient way that possibly that these things are going to work in the future. These AI models are going to work where they don't consume all this power and have the need for all these data centers. For example, low orbit satellites apparently running on solar power can do a lot of that processing before it's beamed back to Earth. And again, I'm over my skis right here, but yeah. I think we don't really know yet what the long-term needs are for all of this. And it's kind of akin to before your time, but in the late 1990s, there was build out of like 80 million miles of fiber optic cable to support internet, right? And it was going to be the next big thing. And I could see a parallel to that with these data centers in particular, that you just might end up with a vast oversupply, and you could see potentially a lot of volatility. Something like, there are some stocks out there that are 80% of their earnings are coming from AI right now. And so if that disappoints, then those stocks could be in for a major pullback, right? So there is risk in it. There's abundant opportunity in it, but there is certainly a need to be diversified in all the things that we always preach to our clients around AI, for sure.
Well, and speaking of diversification and kind of drawing it back to kind of this concentrated topic of AI, right? The average investor may be enamored with the concept of AI, and certainly NVIDIA seeing the returns associated with that. But what are you telling clients who are coming to you, who are asking about getting exposure to AI and all of the potential upside, if you will, that they perceive out there in the marketplace?
Mm-hmm. Well, you're getting exposure to AI in the S&P 500, right? I mean, the Mag 7 make up over 30% of the index, which is potentially risky in of itself. But you don't have to go out and seek a specific like ETF or something that just invests in that. They are out there, and there are leveraged ones, and there are things that are they look great when they're going up, but they could come back down and crash magnificently if they go the opposite direction. So, like anything, if you really believe in it, I think that it's fine to take a position in it, understand the risk with it, but don't put an overburdensome amount of your investable net worth into it, because what you can't afford to lose kind of thing, because it can go the other way.
Yeah, kind of concentration risks, so
yes.
to speak.
Right, for sure.
Well, Scott, what do you see are some of the biggest risks associated with the kind of AI boom?
Well, first, let's rule out the non-zero probability of human annihilation.
We've all seen Terminator.
We have seen Terminator. There is that scenario, but let's just forget that one for now, okay? Because if that happens, we've got bigger issues, right? One of the real risks with AI is displacement of jobs, right? Who's going to be impacted by this? Who is not going to be able to find work because AI has taken their job away? We don't know the answer to that yet, but it's going to be probably a whole lot of jobs. There's early evidence right now, kids coming out of college, or some of them are having a hard time finding work because companies are kind of on this wait and see thing with AI. So I think that is a risk, but it was also a risk with the elevator operators and, buggy whip manufacturers. I mean, there's always been that creative destruction that happens in a capitalistic society. So I do think that's the big risk, though. And on the flip side of that, you're going to have this increased productivity. As you know, GDP is a function of labor times productivity. And so if your labor force goes down, but productivity goes up, you could still have a growing economy despite the displacement of jobs. So that is a real risk for the economy, not so much, but for the individuals that are impacted by it, absolutely.
Okay. Well, we hope that that was informative, and we appreciate you joining us again for our special Christmas edition of Coffee with Scott. So happy holidays, and we'll see you guys again in the new year.